Warning, the following presentation contains cold, hard truths that might change the way you think. Viewer discretion won't do you any good now. TFA. Wait a minute, did I seriously just f***ing hear the Wilhelm scream? Dear God, it's not even funny anymore with that thing. Alright, anyway, The Force Awakens. The only time in my memory where I have loved and hated a film all at once.
Good to meet you, bro. Good to meet you too, Finn.
But rather than saying all the things we know upset us about this film, the fact that Luke wasn't in it, the fact that Captain Phasma was barely in it, we know all that stuff.
Han Solo, you're a dead man.
Kanji Club and the Guavian Death Gang should have been aliens. The coolest thing about Han Solo's character was that he was constantly being hunted by these weird alien bounty hunters. I mean, you got two groups of humans walking onto the ship. At least just make the second one aliens. First horrible line of the movie.
Ever since Luke disappeared, people have been looking for him.
Let's go back and hear that one again.
Ever since Luke disappeared, people have been looking for him.
Ever since Luke disappeared, people have been looking for him. Isn't that the definition of disappearing, when people have to start looking for you? Why couldn't he have said, oh, ever since Luke disappeared, people have been theorizing which planet he ended up on, or people have come up with theories of the path that he took, or maps, or something? You know, make the line cool. Make it sound like the myth or the legend or the lore that he supposedly is. Just saying people have been looking for him. It's like, yeah, no shit, people have been looking for him. In that same scene, after Han tells them about the Force and the Jedi all being real, they don't even react. Finn and Rey literally don't say one word about it.
It's all true.
Alright, next scene. They don't even share a look with each other. What is their opinion on the Force and the Jedi? Are they skeptical? Do they believe? Who knows?
I won't have you question my methods.
General Hux is a shitty character. Who is this guy? Why do I care about him? I need to know something about this guy. Why does he have all this power at such a young age? He's so young for an Imperial officer. At least in the original movies, the Imperial officers looked like old school British war heroes or ex-Nazis or something. They just kind of made sense. If he was older, his snarkiness towards Kylo Ren would have actually made even more sense, and he could have been like, hey, who's this young guy coming in here and trying to run the place? But I need at least one line of dialogue that explains who he is. Because honestly, I just want to know why he's getting a boner from this planet destruction machine. What's motivating him? I just want to understand this guy. Now, it's possible that he's just jealous of Kylo Ren's Force powers, and this death ray is him overcompensating and trying to have Force-like power. But they don't make that clear. They could have used one more line in which he shows his vulnerability or jealousy towards the Sith. Now, Raider! A lot of people are saying that this stormtrooper should have been Captain Phasma. And they are right! It's not that this guy isn't cool. It's just that Phasma doesn't do anything the entire movie. This right here is the most you're gonna see her do.
On my command. 5.
That's it. That's all she does, the entire movie. Honestly, why the f*** wasn't she in this battle? What was she doing during this battle? What was she, taking a nap? Okay, around this part of the film, there's way too much planet hopping. I'll bet you had no idea that this planet and this planet are different planets. Why did you have no idea? Because it was so quick. This is basically where the entire movie just takes a dive for a while.
I'm trying to be helpful.
When did that ever help? And don't say the Death Star.
Was the first Death Star really the only time that Han helped out? What about leading a battalion on Hoth? Or leading a battalion on Endor? Or flying them safely through an asteroid field in Empire?
Same jacket.
When Han and Leia start talking about their kid and that whole storyline starts panning out, they keep talking about someone that they lost, and it's like, are they talking about Luke? Are they talking about their son?
I just never should have sent him away. That's when I lost him. That's when I lost you both.
Yes, well, thank you for the history lesson. Once again, telling and not showing, the biggest no-no in screenwriting. And this movie is filled with characters telling us a backstory that we're not going to see on screen.
He was training a new generation of Jedi. One boy, an apprentice, turned against him and destroyed it all.
Okay, This is the most embarrassing part of the film. The dialogue is so cheesy and embarrassingly devoid of any scientific or engineering-related value. They just know about some oscillator, whatever that is, and they just keep saying it over and over again.
That base has to have some kind of thermal oscillator. If we can destroy that oscillator,
We'll go in there, we'll hit that oscillator with everything we've got. We take out the oscillator and we blow up their big gun.
It's embarrassing how many times they say the word oscillator in this scene. We're not stupid. F you, Disney. Stop trying to kindergartenize everything. Why does all the scientific lingo in this movie sound like a bunch of audio terms?
I bypassed the compressor.
It sounds like they consulted the sound designer for this Move ball. The Force Awakens visual dictionary is jam-packed with scientific nerd lingo. You tell me they couldn't have squeezed just one word of this stuff into the film? I know it's crazy, but they really didn't. So, this part where the Millennium Falcon skids on the snow and lands right at the edge of a cliff, this scene just really bothers me. Why couldn't it just land normally in the woods? This is just absurd. And they're not even strapped in. They should have suffered fatal head injuries from all that banging around. And I feel very disconnected from this scene. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's just 30 seconds of CGI for no reason. Now, the Stormtrooper's incompetence is getting really annoying. Han throws his jacket on the floor in the elevator as soon as they sneak in, and nobody finds it? Nobody comes across this random jacket lying on the floor? And then later, Chewie literally picks it up and hands it back to him in what's supposed to be a funny little moment. But really, how did they not find this thing? Okay, the amount of times that this happens is honestly f***ing ridiculous. There it is again. And again. And again. Alright, this movie should have just been called Star Wars Around the Corner. Talk about overusing a device. You know, I wasn't even gonna mention Snoke, but yeah, he's just as weak of a villain as General Hux. And his dialogue is just so cheesy for some reason.
Leave the base at once and come to me with Kylo Ren.
Hearing him say the words, the base, makes me feel like I'm 5 years old. And why does he have to say Kylo Ren's whole name?
Come to me with Kylo Ren.
We know there's no other guy named Kylo or Ren in this shit. Now, last but not least, I'm gonna end this video with the biggest flaw of The Force Awakens. I could honestly excuse everything I just mentioned. The lame villains, the lame dialogue, the cheesy tone of the whole movie, the lack of bad aliens. I'm willing to put every one of my complaints aside. Except for this last one. I'm talking, of course, about R2-D2. The whole movie is supposed to be about finding Luke. And although that's what the opening crawl had you believe, the plot of the movie actually had nothing to do with finding Luke. Luke is just this thing that seemed like he was tacked on to the end of a totally separate story. But let's go back to this R2-D2 scene. The fact that R2 had this map the whole time, after C-3PO even said that he didn't.
It is very doubtful that R2 would have the rest of the map in his backup data.
So C-3PO was lying, or he just didn't know about it? Now when I saw the film, my first thought was, oh, maybe Luke deactivated R2 to protect his own whereabouts. And when Luke picked up on the Force Awakening or Han dying, he decided to unlock R2's memory and allow them to find him. That would have been fine. But that isn't what happened. According to multiple interviews with J.J. Abrams, R2 just simply was in low power mode. The robot version of depression. Well, how cute. Come on, he's a f***ing robot. And ultimately, I can't think of a single rational reason why this didn't all happen sooner.
Luke.
I mean, I know the real reason is because originally Luke was in the earlier part of the script, but JJ decided to cut him out because Luke made Rey's character seem useless. This scene just felt ridiculous. I mean, really? R2-D2 was sad the whole movie, and he randomly decides they have the map after they went through all this shit without Luke's help? He might have been able to prevent Han's death, and all those damn rebels that died.
Oh, my dear friend, how I missed you.
I think the very fact that there are so many articles trying to figure out what happened with R2-D2 is not a good sign. It means we don't get it. It means we're confused because it didn't make sense. I would say this is a minor detail, but it's pretty major. I mean, the whole movie leads up to this moment and it just makes no sense. It would have been a lot cooler if Luke simply deactivated and then reactivated him on his own. And all they needed to do to make that change was have C-3PO say something like, "What do you mean you didn't know you were turned off?" Boom, now we know Luke did it. I mean, this even looks like he's using his Jedi powers to deactivate him. Now, despite all of my complaints, I honestly loved this film. No, really. It was insanely entertaining, and for the amount of things it f***ed up, it got even more things right. Rey's entire living situation and just the details of how people lived on Jakku was phenomenal. The Stormtrooper backstory with the hologram of Finn as a baby, amazing detail. The Millennium Falcon's unexpected reveal, Han and Chewie's unexpected reveal, everything's unexpected reveal. Maz Kanata was a great character, I loved her. Rey seeing green for the first time, the Resistance coming out of nowhere to save the day. There was some good shit in this film, which is why I had to make this video, because the good film that it was could have easily been made into something great. Honestly, if Chewbacca doesn't avenge Han and rip Kylo Ren's arms off, forcing him to become a cyborg and leading him closer to becoming Darth Vader, I'll be a little disappointed.
Poor Mom.